Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sets video. Now it's been a little while since I've made one of these, and that's just because I've been having a ton of fun using the sets over competitive Wi-Fi battles, which you guys have been seeing on my channel more recently. It's not because I stopped making them or whatever, it's just that I've been having more fun doing something else related to Pokemon. But anyways, today I got a Azumarill set for you today, just one, but it's a pretty awesome set. So let's get started like we always do by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Azumarill is a mono water type Pokemon introduced into Generation 2, and it has become increasingly more popular in the competitive scene due to the fact that it has a massive attack power with one of its abilities, really good priority with Aqua Jet, and the ability to handle a lot of really speedy, threatening, but frail attackers that you'll find in both the UU tier, which is where Azumarill is currently tiered, and also the OU tier. But as for its abilities, Azumarill actually gets three really great abilities, the first of which is Thick Fat, which is an ability that gives you a resistance to Ice-type and Fire-type moves. Now, on Azumarill, this is a little redundant because it already resists both those types of moves. However, if you were to run this ability, just keep in mind that you would actually have a 4 times resist to both Ice-type and Fire-type moves because it adds on to the resistance that you already have with Azumarill's Water typing. As for its second ability, though, and the ability that you're more often going to see, it is known as Huge Power, which is a move or an ability that doubles your physical attack. So this doesn't affect the special attack, it's just the physical attack. And this is really great for Azumarill because it doesn't have the greatest base attack in the world, but with this ability it allows it to have a massive attack power and be very threatening to a lot of Pokemon that won't be able to take its physical hits. And as for its last ability, it is known as Sap Sipper, which is an ability that not only gives you an immunity to grass-type moves, but also grants you a +1 physical attack boost every time you are attacked by a grass-type move. Now, in terms of power, this ability actually falls short of Huge Power just because you would need 2 boosts from Sap Sipper to equal the amount of power that you get from having Huge Power. The cool thing about it, though, is that it does give you an immunity to grass-type moves, which Azumarill is normally weak to, so that means Azumarill is actually only weak to electric moves if you run this ability. However, then more often than not, Huge Power is going to be the preferred ability on Azumarill, regardless of what type of set you are running. As for the stats, it has base 100 HP with 80 defense and 80 special defense, which means that Azumarill is actually a pretty bulky Pokemon in itself. Base 100 HP is really great because that allows you to make 101 base subs if you max its HP, because you'll have a max HP of 404. And this is more commonly seen on sub-punching sets for Azumarill, not something I'll get into today because that's already a thing, but that's just a really awesome thing about Azumarill because that means it can hit very hard while still also not taking much damage from other attacks that aren't super effective because of its good defenses. As for its attacking stats, though, it only has a base 50 attack, but with the Huge Power, it actually doubles this, and I'm not saying it doubles it making it 100 attack, it doubles what the value of having max attack on your base 50 attack is. So Azumarill with a plus attack nature and max attack EVs has a base attack of 218, and it doubles this making it 436, whereas this is actually a lot more than what it would be if you had a base 100 attack with max attack EVs and a plus attack nature. So it actually works out better for Azumarill in that right, even though it is a pretty low base attack to begin with, which is a little bit unfortunate. And unfortunately for its special attack, it's really not going to be doing a lot of damage with that, so you're more often than not going to be using Azumarill's physical attacking moves. And lastly, unfortunately, Azumarill only has a base 50 speed, meaning that it is not very fast at all, but it does have really good priority with Aqua Jet, so that is a thing that you'll most commonly see on this Pokemon, but unfortunately it does fall short in the speed category. With that, let's take a look at the one set that I have for you in this video. So to start things off, we're first going to give Azumarill an Adamant Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack, and for the ability we're going to be going with Huge Power. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into our HP to give us our max HP, 128 into our defense, and 128 EVs into our special defense to split the remainder of the EVs between our defenses to allow us to take hits very well from both the physical and special side. And as for the item on the set, we're going to be going with Leftovers to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. As for the moves on the set, this is actually a Perish Trapping set for Azumarill. So obviously the first move that we're going to be considering for the set and needing to know about is Perish Song, even though I did list it last. But Perish Song is a move, if you don't know, that causes the user and its opponent to faint within 3 turns of this move being used. Now, this effect is completely ignored once you switch out, but the cool thing about it is that it actually gets baton passed. So if you're facing an opponent that is using a baton pass team, you can just use Perish Song to completely screw them over, which is really cool. Another thing to keep in mind about Perish Song is that it is blocked by Pokemon that do have the soundproof ability. Now, there aren't a lot that do, but that is just something to keep in mind. The other move that we're really going to make use of on the set is Whirlpool, which is a move that Azumarill can only use if it's running either Thick Fat or Huge Power, which is why I don't have Sap Sipper on the set, even though that would kind of make more sense, because that would mean that you are only weak to one thing. So because of Whirlpool, we cannot use Sap Sipper, but what Whirlpool does is it is a move that has base 85 accuracy, and it traps your opponent between 4 and 5 turns, which is long enough so that your opponent cannot switch out after you use Perish Song, which is really awesome. It also does a little bit of damage at the end of every turn, but we're not really concerned with that. We're more so interested in the trapping effect that it provides, and using that in combination with Perish Song. Now, there are a few things that can break Whirlpool. The first of which, and something I actually didn't know until a second ago, is that if you're facing a Pokemon that has the Rapid Spin move, if they use Rapid Spin, it actually breaks Whirlpool and they can switch out. So that is something to keep in mind. Opponents can also Baton Pass at a Whirlpool, Volt Switch, U-Turn, etc. Also, if they're holding the Shed Shell item, they can also just switch out anytime. But the other two moves to use in combination with the set are Protect and Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is there because it still allows Azumarill to retain its revenge-killing abilities against a lot of Pokemon, more specifically things like Victini that are very commonly used in the underused tier. So it still gets the revenge power that it has, but it's more bulky and can deal with a lot of walls as well. And Protect is obviously there to stall out the turns of Perish Song so that you don't take any extra damage once you have the Whirlpool and the Perish Song set up. But the great thing about the set, and the reason why it's so effective, is that it allows Azumarill to deal with a lot of counters to Azumarill. Because normally a Pokemon that will resist your water moves or just be very physically defensive will want to come in on Azumarill, predicting maybe a banded set or something like that, and thus they will try to come in and take your moves. However, you Perish Trap them, and now a wall is dead. And that's like the best thing about this set. It's so useful, and I guess the best thing I could do is just kind of show you how this works. So let's take a look at a clip that I have of me using this in a battle. So I start this clip off with me killing this Swampert as my opponent decides to bring in his Cofagrigus to, I guess, wall this Azumarill, because normally Cofagrigus has a very high physical defense and also the Will-O-Wisp move to cripple my physical attack. But as soon as he brings this in, I just go for Whirlpool to trap it, and then go for Perish Song on the following turn. And now that this set is pretty much realized, I just go for Protect. It works the first turn, obviously, all the time. Go for a double Protect. It has a 50% chance of occurring. I luckily get it that time, which is really great, so I avoid any extraneous damage right there. And then now both of our Perish counts have fallen to 1, so I switch out into my Bronzong. My opponent cannot switch, though, because of the trapping properties of Whirlpool, and therefore it faints on the turn that the Perish count drops to 0. So that's pretty much how this set works. And this is possibly the only other set that Azumarill can really run very effectively, because most of the Azumarill metagame revolves around either the Choice Band set or the Sub-Punching one. So this is just another one for Azumarill's arsenal that's really great because, as I said before, it allows you to handle a lot of counters that would normally want to come in and take hits from Azumarill. But that is it for this video, everyone, so I hope you all enjoyed. As always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.